In today's video, I have part 2 of why some homes sell quickly and yet others don't. Well, hi, this is John Stevens with PCS Homes here at eXp Realty, and we're going to talk about the second factor. And there's really 3 factors to a successful sale. First is pricing. Number 2 is condition or presentation of the home, which we're going to talk about today. And then finally, in a future video, we're going to talk about marketing and how you need to do that correctly in order to sell. So let's get into condition. The first thing I always suggest when I'm sitting down and meeting with a seller is put yourself in the shoes of the buyer, right? Put that buyer's hat on and take a critical look at your own home. Look at it through the lens of a buyer and say, think to yourself, are there any projects that maybe I've put off that really should be done before I go ahead and put this on the market? Maybe some touch-up painting or some carpeting that needs to be replaced, and just have an open mind. So that's stage 1. The first thing we want to do is we want to look at the outside of the house. We always call it in real estate the curb appeal of a house, right? So when you pull up to that house, is it attractive? That means several things. Number 1, is the lawn well manicured or taken care of? Is it mowed? Then you want to start looking at, if you have landscaping, is it overgrown maybe at this point? Do you need to trim back some of the trees or bushes around the house just to tidy that up? And then finally, put some fresh mulch out front. All that makes a difference because those are the first and last things, those first and last impressions that people have of your house when they're shopping. And the one last thing I would say about the exterior of the home is when you get to the front door, is the front door in good shape? Does it need to be touched up, or even if it's in bad shape, maybe replaced? But again, those are the things that people see as they leave and as they enter your home. So you want to make sure that those are really squared away. Now we'll move into the interior. And it's basically very similar. Number 1, I always suggest that you look at the walls and the trim. Is the paint looking a little tired? Do you need to either maybe paint the whole house over, or is it just a touch up here or there? Or maybe you don't have to do anything. But you also want to look at the trim. The trim in the home obviously can get a lot of wear and tear, whether it's just from normal use or living in a house, right? You clean your house, you vacuum, and sometimes vacuums can bump into the molding and leave streaks that don't come out, or shoes, the same thing. So over time, you want to, these things happen. So you want to look at it critically and say, all right, should I touch up the trim around the doors? Does it need it? So look at those things. And then pet odors. If you have pets and love pets like we do, it can happen. So what you want to do is make sure that you go ahead and take care of that if you do have some pet odors in the house, because some people might be put off by that. Then another thing is decluttering. You want every room to seem as big as possible, so you want to get items out of the room that maybe don't belong. And even if you have to get self-storage, get storage unit for a temporary period of time, it's always better to get extra furniture out of a room and make the room appear as large as possible. Finally, I always suggest, this is just a little final pro tip. It's super simple, very inexpensive, but it's one of those, maybe it's a pet peeve of mine, but I see it come up in inspections and then also in the minds of home buyers, and that is light bulbs. Replace light bulbs. If you've got light bulbs that are out, when you flip a switch, I'll tell you what goes through the mind of a buyer. When they see that in 2 or 3 or 4 rooms and light bulbs don't go off, they start wondering, is there something wrong with the wiring? What's going on? And the same during a home inspection. The home inspector is trying to figure out the circuits, what's working here and there. So just eliminate that, replace the light bulbs, and you'll be good to go. So I hope you found that information helpful. We'll talk to you soon.